come on, Nervylette. There's no need. Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out, of course. It is only natural for humans to struggle.
That's true. But my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge—
Wait, what was that? Lady Furina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon for forsaking her duty, but did I hear that right? She's not our Archon at all?
Charge accepted. Lady Furina, do you plead guilty to the charge? Lady Furina.
I plead not. There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Furina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
Yeah,
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. There would be no fooling their memory. See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you sure? If you wish to drop the case, I can promise.
an argument with Niran.
Well, and if I...
First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess an extended lifespan. And second of all, even if that wasn't the case, there could...
Oh, beleza, mano. Valeu, mano.
A curse. But in light of this
Never sensed it too,
Tamo aí, tamo aí.
Well...
Platinando jogos e se divertindo aí, né? Valeu por aparecer aí, mano.
Well, don't stop. Besides, for centuries, manifestation one need only to turn their eyes.
Tentando, né? Fazendo uns vídeos por hobbies, live e vamos se divertindo aí jogando, né? Ô, valeu, mano. Não precisa deixar aberto não, cara, mas se puder, é nóis. Eu agradeço. É só por hobby mesmo, o YouTube aqui.
Didn't I make myself clear at the time?
Lady Furina, I believe a reminder of your
O
current
Arconte tá me conquistando demais, mas ela tá confusa. Ela é Arconte ou não? Bizarro, né?
While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law, you will prove yourself unable...
I never thought you'd use that kind of rhetoric against me.
That was no
Toma.
trick of rhetoric, Lady Furina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court.
Inclusive você.
So, you neither knew why child was the...
Vai lá, mano, vai lá. Só pra aparecer já ajudou, mano. Vai lá treinar. Treinar é importante. Inclusive, eu nem fui treinar hoje ainda. Acho que eu vou daqui a pouco.
You can't argue that just because a divine creation is flawed, that the god behind it must also be no god.
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident.
My power as an Archon. There are many ordinary...
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the...
You don't need to go that far.
Ela não tem o poder. Até eu não tenho o poder de dar conta.
Is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the...
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their power from the faith of the people, and thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide everyone with energy energy for their day.
Isn't that?
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god with no power even still be called a god?
Nossa.
It seems like nobody's buying Furina's excuse.
Hey, come now, everyone. Please don't. I'm still the same Furina you knew, right? The one that you. Please. You've got to believe me.
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really has come.
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and...
Caraca.
Enough. That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the real Hydro Archon, then who is?
Essa é verdade.
If you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can back up their claim to be such, then what ground...
Wow, she came up with yet another argument. It has been established that all Fontanians can dissolve in water from the primordial sea. And
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right
Eita,
here
Priola.
and now to eliminate all suspicions of you being the latter.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor...
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive... including those of some... So, Miss Furina, would you dare to touch some of the seawater? If we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching the seawater would have no effect on you. But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the...
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many years. I guess...
If Lady Furina is indeed just a human, she's probably Fontanian like all the rest.
Vixe, agora.
Lady Furina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution, as it falls outside the realm of standard court.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same.
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word.
What's going on? Is she really planning to... that's not what we thought.
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Furina.
Vixe, já colocou mesmo.
Hey!
Caraca!
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon!
Miss Siegewing? If you're present, Miss Siegewing, please...
Siege, don't be nervous. It'll just take a few... That should be enough.
Please announce the results of your evaluation to the court.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Furina was displaying symptoms of She was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same...
Thank you, Miss Siegewing. Lady Furina.
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved!
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did originally prepare... However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated. We don't want anyone else to lose their life to this...
Yeah, so out of regard for Furina's life, you secured a low concentration... It's a great thing that the direct sample...
I can't believe... You... Listen to me, everyone. Please don't give me such cold and think about it. How can you conclusively prove that? Also, if I was really just a human...
É. Ou não.
Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me. I swear, I really am your Archon.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't...
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
Eita.
I don't think anything she says
E agora?
will sway her.
Coitada dela. Eu só queria ajudar todo mundo. Acho que nem ela sabe mesmo, nem ela mesma ela sabe se é Arconte ou não, né?
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Furina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Furina is... Guilty.
Coitada. Nossa.
We shall now turn to the oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges.
Vai dar a resposta contrária à máquina?
According to the judgment of the oratrice mécanique d'analyse cardinale.
Well,
Inocente.
What's the oratrice's verdict?
No, the oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus.
Arconte hidro culpada. Puta. Ou seja, ela é culpada, mas ela é Arconte ainda.
To be punished via the death sentence.
That's actually one of the
Coitada.
sentences? I've always thought that it...
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court. And it's been given to the very...
Furina's been sentenced
Merda.
to death by the oratrice? We just wanted to use the trial to show her the seriousness of things so she'd tell us the truth.
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current... Is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been...
Yeah! Even Vacher wasn't sentenced to death by the oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
Indeed. Not only is Furina's sentence overly excessive, the very point but now, the oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon. What does this mean?
Já sei.
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial
Fremine! You finally made it.
Any mission Father assigns to me.
Is that the first prophecy slate? Huh. So the knave privately arranged for Fremine to try...
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the... But has the trial already concluded? Then... does it...
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record left on the slate. Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates. I would like you...
Huh? So what do you see? What do you...
I believe I have now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Huh? Isn't the Hydro Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no. So when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the real Hydro Archon?
In truth, everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other 3 stone slates.
É ou não é Arconte? Bizarro, velho.
The first stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power, and then the Oceanids turn in. Does that mean that Fontanians are The second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people worshipping it together. This must be the point when the Hydro Archon. The third slate shows the Hydro Archon sinking into the sea, surrounded by. That reminds Paimon, didn't? Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontanians have been talking about. People dissolving into the sea. We didn't
Nossa,
believe
tudo
that
isso
such a
aconteceu,
crazy
meu
disaster
Deus.
could happen at first, did we? But
Caraca.
We know from the case of the and the first. This might be the reason that Fontanians can dissolve.
Profecia, descreve uma história. Chica, pelo amor de Deus, né? Tá.
Perhaps what is about to take place has all happened before. The true sin of the Hydro Archon that Nervilette mentioned, and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine by Celestia, as recorded
Você
on
está
the
sendo
stone
culpada
slates.
pelo pecado da Arconte original. Tá.
It's not as simple as when Navia fell into the sea. The stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea. Could that...
Não sei de horário que jogou ocupado no fim, nem Furina sabia o porquê. Tá.
A prophecy from the stone slates found its way into the fortress of Meropide was nearly... If we hadn't dealt with it in time...
they'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater, converge, and take the form of an Oceanid. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present.
Pecado original.
Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a court within her consciousness. The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meropide was the surest sign that the stone slate's contents can all be verified by recent events. If we combine what we know together... Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now! But then it feels like...
Let's hear them.
Incredible.
All Fontanians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as the evidence for that can be found in how only Fontanians could dissolve in primordial seawater, and how all the girls Vacher dissolved were also turned into Oceanids. Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial.
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably angered Celestia by creating humans with that could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon to be guilty.
The Hydro Archon's true sin.
Nossa, criação.
And yet,
Porra,
after
como
many
que ela vai ser
hundreds of
culpada por
years,
isso?
the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese.
Yeah, isn't the image here just like when Navia fell into the sea? So wouldn't it be trying to to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been... In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon will remain weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people... Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that, however, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched within it. When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. But since we only had 3 slates at the time, I was unable to come to a full conclusion. Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the narrative record. I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontanians and the sin of... In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land.
Yay.
The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the 7, did not want to give in. She eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet. She poured primordial seawater in. But if Fontanians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race, and thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true...
So you...
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just... Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all, her only sin was creating us.
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontanian.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the 3rd and 4th stone slates was inaccurate. The slates' respective position... A key point of the visual on the 3rd slate is how all the... They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depict... The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of trials and justice. Instead of being the literal element, the water in the scene symbolizes... You may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold a trial to determine her fate. Therefore, the meaning that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon. Yes, it refers to our present situation.
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold.
What should we do?
No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled.
A profecia se cumpre de jeito ou outro.
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the...
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy in your deductions about the 4th slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fort... However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact... As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before.
Eita, mais julgamento.
Just a small warning of the things to come. We must find...
Oi aí, beleza? O que eu respondo aqui? Tô perdido. É a última parte aqui. Qual parte que tá errado aqui? A única que aparece pra dívida é esse aqui? Deixa eu ver. Sei lá. Acertei?
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
The truth, the original sin, the
Ah, consegui acertar aqui. Vamos ver. Aliás, ela é Arconte ou não? Tô confuso. Não parece ter poder nenhum. É a baleia aí? É. Ah, acabou a missão? Eu nem tenho ideia, porque eu joguei tudo de uma vez. Essa é a última parte da missão que tem ou tem mais ainda? Puta, o Nivelete é muito foda, velho. Ele é demais esse cara, velho. Nem ele vai conseguir ter isso. Quem que veio? Charles? Caraca, velho, olha isso, mano. Caraca, que foda. Mano, olha isso, velho. Caralho. Mano, os dois lutando junto, velho. Mano, arrepiou, velho. Puta que pariu. Caralho. Nossa, é com sangue nos olhos, Child, velho. Foda. Descansa aí, mano. Ei, caiu lá de novo. Oxi. Alguém pega ele, mano. Pelo amor de Deus.
That was way too close. How did that thing just burst into the opera house? Wait.
Mano, que foda, velho.
You saw in your dream?
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it has chosen to make an appearance here. That whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars. It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to grow. That is the main and once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within this...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontanians out of Oceanids, she filled their blood vessels.
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontanians nigh impossible to resist. Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food. Food in the form of Fontanians.
Nossa.
We just barely managed to push it back, right? In that case, won't it come back?
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. Without him, the whale would have likely... From the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
Nossa, velho.
We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale, but we definitely didn't expect it to help us. Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster recorded in the prophecy...
It is too late.
É, batalha de boss essa baleia aí?
Too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it, even if the entirety of Tevat...
Vamos lá ajudar o Charlie, cacete.
We've done everything we can. We've come so far. You can't just tell me that...
Indeed. That's not how a grand...
I'll fight it to the end.
Vai todo mundo pra cima, velho. Se dane.
No matter what, huh?
Vamos pra cima, cacete. Pau nessa baleia aí, mano.
The prophecy. Yes. Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen... Ultimately, fate shall serve...
O que eu queria falar mesmo? É verdade. Ela sabia que era a baleia, mas não sabia lidar com a baleia, é isso?
What's happening with the Oratrice?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Vixe, vai executar mesmo? Pô, alguém salva ela, pelo amor de Deus. Sai daí, cacete. Ah, tá tão deprê que... Vai lá pegar, cacete. Que isso é esse espadão aí? Meu Deus. Eita, quem é esse aí? Nossa, que bonita a Furina. Tem que ter skin dela no jogo, pelo amor de Deus. É a Furina original?
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just...
You are not Furina.
Ah, the sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question...
Mano, que roupa foda.
You know,
A Furina tem que ter essa skin no jogo, mano.
Fusolo. Why did you...
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too. The heavenly principles.
O céu acima, né?
Deceiving the heavenly principle.
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon Egeria, for the uninitiated. She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass. And as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principle. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather... I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I was almost growing barnacles by the time I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least, while saving I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties of the Hydro Archon.
Meu Deus, olha isso.
But one can only play the hand one is dealt.
Tá desafiando os deuses, né?
Any more than I chose to be one of
O
her
céu acima de
Oceanic
Teyvat.
familiars.
So you were also once one of the Oceanids?
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now.
Nossa, que lindo.
In my eyes, to be human is to be part of the greatest opera ever
Nossa,
known.
que frase, mano.
After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as my past self on her first. The me
Ela é
you see
Arconte,
before
né?
you
Só que ela
now
não...
is that
É e
divinity.
não é, né?
And the human counterpart I left behind, I
A parte
named
humana
Furina.
dela.
She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or as meek and vulnerable. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess, as were her shortcomings. But in my
Coitada, a Furina tava tentando resolver um negócio que ela não tinha nem como resolver.
her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. The person I always wanted to be. Anyway, so all part of the plan, of course. The plan to Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Furina to be an actress, to play the part of the Hydro Arc under the curse I placed on her. So long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But
Coitada.
nor was she free to live her life in the pursuit of happiness. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady, to forever play. I suppose now you probably understand why you're—
But Furina is only human. Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other ordinary. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure.
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, it's been 5, and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long,
Nossa,
unbearably
velho.
lonely,
Como alguém pode gostar da Furina?
painful.
Coitada. Vou até com uma Furina. Vai, como é que é? Eu chego ali. Vamos lá, Furina. Vamos falar com a Furina.
Oh? Who permitted you to come onto this stage? All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Oh, do not. I am Focalor, the eyes of...
As últimas pistas, né?
Dear audience, the performance is
Tem mais holofote,
experiencing
tá?
a technical difficulty,
Você tem que
but
bater no bicho.
worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon enough.
É, tem que decifrar as entrelinhas dela, né? Mano, que história incrível de Fontaine, hein? Eu vou morrer. Calma aí, vai. Tem outro bicho agora?
The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards? Wait, where are the guards? Guards! Let my name echo in song! Embrace the ice! Whirling snow! Teamwork is dreamwork! Stop that! Speak that lucky vet! Cut to the chase!
Pronto. Vamos ver. A história dela.
Furina.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where?
Be not nervous. Be not afraid. I am before you.
Wait a moment. You're... mirror me?
Mirror you, huh?
Mirror me?
The prophecy.
What prophecy? Wait, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only the Hydro Archon...
Oh.
What's going on? I can't seem to remember...
Yes, it will. And that is why I've come to you.
But doesn't that mean everyone will die?
E agora?
Oh, don't worry. Magical meetings exist in this world precisely to give... I will tell you how to save everyone, but you may have to suffer
Mais, coitada, mais do que ela já sofre.
Oh, so there's still hope after all. As
Será que ela tá
for
mentindo?
the suffering, well, but if the prophecy will come true, I'll also die if there were scales, with all the people of Fontaine on one side, and my pain on the other.
Ah, tá.
You truly are the perfect human.
Ao passado,
my
né?
ideal.
Tá contando a história dela, né?
I suppose this would also be the justice. Huh? Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost its Hydro Archon. I need you to play
as a
god. A god.
That's right. You must begin a never-ending masquerade. You must... If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way of defying this prophecy. But should your...
Coitado, aguentou bastante, hein? 500 anos.
A human assume...
Don't worry. What you must do is not to turn yourself into a real god. Being a human yourself, I'm sure you already remember your true challenge.
I'm still not sure I understand, but... So, how long am...
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on the stage, but I promise you, all...
A trial, huh?
Que obra de arte essa história de Fontaine, né? Que incrível. Que criatividade pra fazer essa história, hein? Não correr, não?
The Maison Cardinalise has announced my accession. What should I say to most appear like a god? Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. And I'm sure you've all heard about how I have taken on the role of Hydro Archon. In truth, I know little about becoming a nation's... As the god Focalor, the god... Once again, thank you all for coming. If you... I thought I might stammer, but thankfully, I was...
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses humanity would be a bit more assertive.
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions there at the...
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest. What's the difference between her and an ordinary person?
Imagina fingir que é poderosa não sendo.
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen.
Wait, what's going on? Why is everyone suspecting me of being a fake? Mirmi said that I just need to play the role of a god as humans and calm down, Furina. Think. What do the people want? Assertive, with a strong sense of
Foi aí que ela criou o personagem dela, né? Forte, autoritário, com a certeza na fala. Sim. Ela tem que ser poderosa nas palavras, né? Convencer o povo. O poder da palavra, né? É que do jeito que você fala as coisas, até uma mentira pode parecer verdade.
Well, it seems that you would all see right through them. Having passed my test, you are qualified to witness wondrous trials alongside my august self.
E nem mentira, ela é Arconte, não tem poder, né?
Act a door gift of sorts. I thought it was a debut. Now then, let us.
Ah, so that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were inside an opera house?
Her personality. It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How
Ela fascinou o povo todo.
Our future may yet be bright after all.
It seems I've turned them around. Best follow this flow and restart my dear people. Whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, keep faith in your ardor for justice. We have heard it said that this nation's sins can no, this won't work.
Bom, ela não envelhece, parece nem engordar também, né? Com tanto de doce que ela come.
The scales of justice should not weigh heavy in the hands of its God. On one side, may law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship. Let us light the fire. There is no trouble in this world that justice cannot solve. All that is needed is for you, my people, to believe in it, heart and soul. So long as I, the Archon Focalor, stand within the Opera Epiclese, so long as I...
Uhul! Pô, sensacional. Ato 3, final. Geralmente o teatro tem 3 atos.
Lady Furina, here are today's case reports as well as a summary of the following.
Nossa, a parte burocrática, chato, né?
Just at the opera house in person. Leave these kinds of things to Neuvillette.
Ah, depende. Tem geralmente 3 atos ou 5, 6, depende. Esse aqui tem 3 só, né?
Besides, none of the
if I may be so impertinent.
A magnificent, dramatic and
Se não é o Neuvillette na vida dela, né?
Fear I lack the ability to grasp you.
No need for fright, and do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now, do your duties. The trial I await. It will come one day.
Vamos lá, Furina.
Lady Furina, I don't know what to say. Thank you for agreeing to see me.
No need to thank me. Or rather, thank your own sense of perseverance instead. Oh, I'm afraid that's just an inevitable consequence of my divine charm. All right. Deoteria, is it?
He is doing much better now. In fact, he is far more.
Oh, good. Very good. If this should happen again in the...
You're such a gentle and wise girl.
Ih, vai ter a cama aqui.
Lady Furina, here are the latest hydrological reports. As for the specific...
I see. It's as I thought then. All manner of signs indicate that... Really?
I'm...
The day is finally over. I haven't had...
Coitada.
It's good
Desgastante,
to see that
né?
everything's getting on track.
Ela teve que ir atrás de todo mundo pra tirar todas as suspeitas possíveis. Durante 500 anos. Imagina o tão cansada ela deve estar, né?
Furina, don't think too hard about...
Ato 4.
Lady Furina, here are the new trial reports for the latest cases, as well as a summary of...
There'll be no need for that.
Lady Furina,
Indeed, my dear, loyal citizen. This...
Lady Furina, we're detecting significant hydrological anomalies near Poisson.
Understood. I feel utterly...
Ato 5. Estudou tudo sobre a lenda, né? Os costumes do povo. Os atos da vida de... Nossa, meu Deus do céu.
It's like a dream. I've heard that the first member...
Caraca, imagina viver isso por 500 anos.
Are you crying?
Tirar a desconfiança das pessoas. Ela nem aguenta mais. Ela deixa transparecer já. Tá até chorando.
This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the god whose dominion
Nossa, velho.
No wonder. No wonder. A manifest.
Nossa.
So interminable. Hundreds of years must have passed by now. I never imagined have I reached my limit. I want
Meu
to
Deus.
tell someone. And I've conducted so many investigations. All I can do is keep heart. I must...
Ato 182.000, nossa.
Furina, you don't have to although I don't know what you might be
É
keeping
com
from
a...
everyone. Your people are more than willing to share
Calumnia,
your
né?
burden with you.
Share my burden. That's impossible. It was fated right from...
But even if your burden doesn't need to be shared,
Agora eu quero saber o que ela vai falar.
Just share it with me.
A witness. Yes, I've heard that you came to Tevat from beyond the stomach. And if Tevat is, in its entirety, a show on a stage, then you're... She's right. But if things don't play out as expected... No, Furina. You shouldn't be... But what if, Furina, you've worked so hard. Is it such an outrageous thing to do anyway? To find someone... If you let this opportunity, think about it. Long and hard. No, I have nothing to say. I am Furina, The Archon of all you need to do, dear spectator, is to witness my performance.
Eu quero a resposta de verdade. Não da atriz.
So even Furina doesn't know the truth? You've never once let her in on the...
Yes, it had to be done. To deceive the Heavenly Prince, she did very well. If she had let her resolve falter even once in these 5 centuries, it seems that trusting humanity was the right decision.
I believe that I understand how your deception works. How would you build on this foundation to save the people of Fontaine?
Ah, good, good. Of course, the Iudex of Fontaine has pinpointed... I'm sure you've long sensed that the Oratrice is no simple machine. Yeah?
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Lenny did mention that he heard a human voice within the core
está na máquina, né?
It now seems that that person was you, hidden within the machine all along.
And then I became one with the Oratrice, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes, it would seem so. Alas, your understanding of this... In truth, it is no enactor of justice. It is, in fact, a device created to kill the god of justice.
Caramba.
Oh, you have it. And to be more precise, not only will the Oratrice take down... I mean, did you think I would be the sort to enjoy peaceful repose, my work over these last 500 years? But really, some have already discovered that only a small fraction, the vast majority has been, had to be.
It was all a part of your plan then?
Indeed. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained Fontainians for millennia, had it only been used for that purpose. But only power of this magnitude could hope to destroy the...
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Furina, the destruction of that divine throne. If I do not misunderstand...
Returning what's rightfully yours to... In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro Archon to the Hydro Dragon of this planet.
But...
Oh, what? The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be yours once more, O Hydro Dragon.
All you've done throughout the years is just so you can...
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Even now, I'm quite pleased at how well my... Hydro Dragon, don't cry.
Nevilete chorar, duvido.
I must say, had it been within my rights, I would have loved to judge the heavenly principles themselves. Were they... Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea. And I, for my part, am the god of justice. And is it not just that Speaking of justice, I have always believed that So, if the theft of the primordial sea's might was Fontaine's origin, then... Leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, the descent of the Fontainian, in other words, existence was defying the prophecy. At this point, we, whether Iudex Neuvillette, the High...
So when I was invited to the court of Fontaine to serve as Iudex, at last, I now understand the true In the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living alongside you, things being as they are, surely you know that I could never declare them to be guilty.
Nossa, tem que ter uma skin dessa pra Furina no jogo.
The hour of my execution is almost here.
Precisa se punir
For the
mesmo?
sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Nervalette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
A outra vai continuar viva? Olha que foda. Valsa final. Olha essa música. Coitada. Caramba. Cara, a Furina vai poder envelhecer, viver? Nossa, olha isso.
Ex Nouvelette, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
Deus, que obra de arte isso.
What just happened?
Was that bright light some sort of mystery?
But since we're all still alive...
It's time to end this. We must meet our punishment.
Senta porrada na baleia, isso aí.
I have gained the strength
Agora pode,
sufficient
né?
to deal with it. Through certain means, we should seize the opportunity to pursue our quarry. Traveler, now that the oratories can no longer function, I require and exact the root of the calamities befalling Fontaine. Come with me, traveler.
Vixe. Raio do pau, né? Vai, faz igual o da baleia do Child. Nossa, que lindo, velho. Como é que bate nisso? Mano, que foda isso. Sim? É assim que bate? Isso? É água, não vai bater, né? Ou vai?
The all-devouring narwhal cannot resist its instinct to devour. Continue to trigger its hostility.
É uma cura. Vai nada de vida? E agora, faço o que aqui? Ah, tá.
You my protection. Do not fear. Seize the moment and use my power to suppress its root from within.
With sword comes shadow. May I present? Let the world come up. Whirling snow.
Nada essa luta aqui. Sentiu, né? Ele vai dividir, né? A água, não sei o que lá da baleia. Água primordial, um negócio assim. É a Arlequina? Quem é esse aí? Eita, Skirk, quem é isso aí?
Thanks for helping with the cleanup. It should have been my job, but it was just supposed to be a short private training session for me. I didn't think that my disciple and my master's pet would start
a mestra do Child? Tá pelo. Cara, que da hora, olha isso.
But they bumped into one another.
That power.
Hyman has an idea. From what she said, it's just that he gave us the impression that she was the...
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak. But you, on the other hand, so you may speak to me as equals. I have to agree.
É tudo poderoso aqui,
use of
filha.
a planet's primordial waters just to raise an all-devouring narwhal. That kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative. It eats too much. And I have more important things to do with my time than pet sitting. The only thing that creature has... All in all, it...
Miss Skirk?
The point...
Well, being that this pet... so what sort of person is your master? Well, Child's master's...
Oh, right. So you don't know him. His name is Sertologi.
I am...
Sertologi?
Huh. So Master is insufficiently famous. How should I...
The foul?
Still nothing? Well...
Ooh, that one we've heard! Rhyme Doctor's part of the Hexen...
Oh. So
Mãe
you
do
do know that
Albedo?
name.
Oxi.
To be honest, I also heard all of those names and titles from... But I suppose you understand now, yes? My master...
Wait! Didn't you also mention of...
Actually, never mind that. That the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all its strength fighting you. Such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult for the planet's deep seas. As such, the Fontaine back on the surface has most likely been thrown into chaos. In other words, the prophecy that you...
What?
Not to worry. Focalor has...
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Furina will remain, weeping on her throne.
Isso foi tudo imundado mesmo? Oxe, que louco, que viagem é essa?
Sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Poxa, tá tudo imundado mesmo?
Hey! Help! Over here!
A arca de Noé, é?
All hands, initiate emergency rescue.
A prisão virou uma nave?
Hurry! Hey, lend a hand.
Cadê a Furina? Tem o Satu ajudando, né?
Look, the water's receding.
Ó, o princípio do dilúvio aí, né?
It's a miracle! We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong. The prophecy was wrong.
É porque a água já foi limpa também, né? Do negócio primordial lá.
The prophecy was wrong.
The soil renewed. The Furina deep old soil can skyship wing the various disputes that a people always call. Wow, Paimon barely recognizes the people in the report.
What do you think? Pretty enthralling, huh? The Steambird's idea was
Pastel
pretty
de
simple.
vapor.
The value for these big scoops lies. Edwin's assistant, Jurier, created a
Paimon's curious,
and that's exactly why I'd like you.
Are you sure?
Oh, this time will be different.
Acabou, né? Da hora. Acabou a missão do Arconte ou tem mais? Final. Vai, Furina.
Navia! Oh, it's you.
Hey, we're just having a look around.
I'm here to update myself on how things are.
Let me introduce you. This is Mr. Garunt Snežević.
Pela roupa,
He
podia ser
represented the
Fatui.
Nave in sending us a large amount of... Our residents are hard at work as well.
Hello, Miss Charlotte. I'm a big fan of yours. But if you don't mind, could you not emphasize our role too much in your report?
I get where you're coming from. I'll keep...
That would be fine.
Oh, you're back too. How are things?
We finished laying down the construction materials. It'll be another hour.
Huh?
Well, her reputation's greatly risen after that whole duel business with Miss Furina. So she's here in Poisson.
There's too much to consider in the reconstruction of Poisson. The Spina has need.
Wait just a moment. Do you mind me asking a few questions? You know, about how you felt before the duel. About what...
Forget it. I'm sure you can find a better theme than that, Miss Charlotte.
I see you're the same as always.
Well, if we're talking about doing things for my sake, you might as well just take a few more photos of me.
Of course I will. I'm not gonna let her off that easy. All right, then everyone...
Jeez.
How did it go? Was it a good shot? Did Paimon look cute in it?
Not bad. Your addition really helped the composition of the picture. All right, hang on a moment. Let me snap a few more shots. All right, that should do it. I'll be back here later anyway, so let's call it a day.
You're very quick.
Speed is of the... Also not to... Wow.
I'll hazard a guess that this is how you got that
Whoa, you're well...
That's a...
In truth, I told him that it...
You're right.
Stay safe now. And...
Não tem um... Ah, na prisão.
Wow, guess we're here again, huh? There's a real nostalgia.
Looks like you've been missing us.
Duke! Did you...
Of course. I'm here to welcome you and our dear Miss Charlotte.
It's an honor to finally meet the much-rumored Duke.
No need to thank me. But that said, I shouldn't be the focus of your interview.
Of course.
All right then, this way.
Hey, no need to be so nervous.
Ó o casalzinho.
Miss Charlotte.
It would seem that Miss Lorvine doesn't want her...
Sir, please don't say...
But it looks like dear Mr. Jurier denies...
No, I just... This is my...
Now, I might not look it, but I actually did meet Mr. Edwin once. The boat that brought about a miracle. The art... Still, if I might ask...
Huh. Looks like Charlotte...
I have to apologize, but that ship is presently...
Really? Well, then...
You already know my answer, I'm afraid. Best you interview our head nurse instead. Or...
Did you really have to use the word... Well, then, two solo...
Is my hair messed up? Please.
Things sure are getting pretty lively here. Oh, seems like everyone's here. Would any of you like to try this?
Ah, see...
Hey, Miss Charlotte. Sure.
Huh? Sure. Do I have to smile? So, how have things been at...
Same old, as you can see. Fontaine's under...
Other than that flying ship, it got a tad too much attention, I think.
That's why I decided to...
You're too kind, sir. I believe that you two...
I see. Lots of things happen that...
He sure did with...
I'll tell them that there's good...
Oh.
What change can there be? The fortune as to what Miss Furina's departure will mean for the nation, and if our laws and governance will be transformed, we'll leave those to...
Hey, everyone! The photo shoot's done.
Good. In that case, let's call it a...
Thanks for your cooperation. Come on, Traveler, let's go.
There'll be a...
Maybe. Who knows? All right. Last stop, the docks.
Ah, não é aqui, é lá em cima. Qual andar aqui? Vai, mano, desce aí.
Shower me with praise.
Voltemos pro início de tudo. Pô, cadê a Furina?
Navia mentioned that she stayed in touch with...
Traveler, Paimon. Ah, and Miss Charlotte.
Would you like a magic pocket? What sort of gadget? It's a wondrous bag that can be used to carry many things. Trick a friend. You could just make a friend like Fremine here. Isn't that right, Fremine? To be honest, that sounds pretty sweet. Could I have your contact, please?
Lynette sure is working hard to help Fremine socialize.
He was the one who proposed doing this. He even wants...
Yes, I was planning to first introduce Pear.
That said, would anyone want to see a diver escape underwater?
Oh, it'll work out.
Lynette, could you...
Got it.
My, that Charlotte is rather perceptive. Father says that you did a great deal.
That's all right.
Oh, I guess you have an after lady for...
A diplomatic gift?
Yes, it could have been done furthermore. I would agree, but...
So there's some reason for this that only Nervalet...
I suspect you'll...
Isn't he... But back to the topic. The Gnosis was given to the knave, right? What about Child?
They say that he's returned to Snesh.
That's true. When you think about it, we've had loads of...
So shocked by such a simple switching of sides?
Father!
Arlequino?
Well, well, what do you know? Come to the docks to see how my children are doing and meet the traveler by chance. Please do not pay...
Are you going to take the Gnosis back to Snezhnaya?
Ah, pegou de nós mesmo
That
assim?
is our duty as harbingers, yes. Don't be too preoccupied with sides. The goal of the Fatui concerns not a single place or person, but the entire world. With such a grand switching my masks is something I've always done. Well, that depends on many things. No one truly knows what the future holds. What good is on... As for you, I very much look forward to our next collaboration. Good things cannot be achieved alone, and you've proved yourselves to be great partners. A vision.
And that's a wrap for me. Huh? You...
Greetings, Miss Journalist.
Hello?
That is correct. So forgive me, but I will not be able to serve as a subject in your article. However, feel free to write as much as you'd like about our dear magicians and our upcoming rookie talent.
I will.
The sea breeze is quite pleasant.
Farewell, Father.
Oh, she has such an intimidating presence. I didn't even dare to take a picture. Thankfully, I've already wrapped up all my pre-scheduled...
Don't be too nervous. Why don't you take a magic pocket before you go? Here, Traveler, Paimon, you take...
To move things about?
That's right. Funny. I guess this must be... Alright then.
Well, guess we sent Charlotte, huh? Shall we go see how Nivelet's doing? As long as he's not so busy that he doesn't have time to chat anyway.
Faltou isso foi, né? Eu quero saber da Furina. Ué, não é aqui?
The entrance to the fortress! Ooh, he really is there! You really are here, Nivelet! Paimon didn't think you were going to have free...
Really? Oh, I suppose you must have met Mr. In any case, you came at a good time. I was just considering reaching out to you to set up a meeting.
Aw, Paimon's glad that you remember. Alright, let's have it then. How was Fontaine actually saved?
It is strange how words can often leave a bitter taste.
Destroyed the divine throne of the Hydro Archon and restored your power to you. But Paimon still doesn't quite get what you did to save the
For me, the authority of the ancient dragons refers to absolute control over the... Fontanians were incomplete humans born of Egeria's use of the power of the primordial sea, with constitutions similar to that of mimic. But so long as those primordial energies remain within them, I could use the ancient dragon's authority to grant them true blood. After the fashion. In other words, when I gave my verdict, Fontanians became true humans, and thus would naturally no longer be dissolved by...
Fossilor must have counted on you to make that decision as well. Your verdict was... Yeah! And in a manner of speaking, Fossilor finally managed to fulfill the original Hydro...
It seems from your expressions that you still have more things you wish to... Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. I have investigated his case along many avenues, and I have learned that he once fell into an unknown chasm when he was young. But whether it be by sentiment or reason, that should not have been enough to consider him the root cause of... As for the judgment passed by the Oratrice during the... Whether it was due to that liability by association, or Fossilor deliberately using him to buy time for us on the...
Guess Fossilor had Fontanians in mind the whole time. In the end, it was thanks to her that they finally became real human. Hang on a second. Paimon suddenly got it back when Fontanians hadn't yet become real humans. Were the children...
Life has always flowed like water. Do you recall how Fontanians would often come to the Fountain of Lucine to pray?
Yeah! Lynette said the fountain is where all the waters in Font...
In truth, even those couples did not... Those Oceanids who were blessed within the spring...
Paimon... Sort of...
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Yeah, about that.
Ah, Lady Furina. The people are only aware that her death sentence has not been carried out. She abdicated the post of Hydro Archon and left affairs related to that title to me. Before leaving, I related Focalor's words to her faithfully and completely. After hearing them, she seemed neither saddened. She simply said that she was tired. Having said that, she then packed her things and moved out of the opera house. Not unlike how an ordinary... You need not worry. I will make arrangements to ensure that she will not want for food, clothing. In truth, I am somewhat happy for her. The wear and tear, but now that she no longer has to play the role of Focalor the Hydro Archon, she can finally...
What about you then? What are your plans now that you've regained your full...
After Focalor passed on, this matter will directly affect our trials. After much careful consideration, I've decided to take over its role in our courts. From now on...
Looks like you're still considering stuff from the...
As an elemental dragon, there are indeed many things that I must do. But this power and this duty... As such, before I attend to my other responsibilities, I must first and foremost continue to serve Fontaine as its highest job. Additionally, the Hydro Archon's departure has brought about another problem, which is that the Opera House shall no...
That's true. That power was derived from the people... Wait, but the various mechs and machines in the city...
As I am now, I have full command over New Musia, and it can serve as a complete substitute. Another reason why...
Wow. This ancient dragon...
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
É, man, você deixou os ginós embora?
You've given it to the knave as a diplomatic gift or something.
Leaving aside their intentionality, the two Fatui Harbingers have indeed done much. Their sole remaining goal in Fontaine, at least at this point, would seem to be the Gnosis. The Oratrice has ceased to function. The Hydro Archon's divine throne is now no more. And I do... As such, it has lost all meaning for... If the Fatui have impure designs, then we might as well accede to their request now, and avoid unnecessary conflict.
What complicated considerations? Paimon thought you were just giving...
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. You will soon be heading to Natlan, I presume. I'm afraid that I have little talent as a travel guide, so all I can do is tell you what I know about that land. As far as I'm aware, Natlan can be said to be a nation of dragons.
A nation of dragons?
No, I suspect that I would not find it. Unlike ancient dragons, such as myself, the dragons of Natlan have undergone long years of... Natlan is also the nation of war. War ravages those lands like an undying flame. There is one other piece of information I got incidentally from my negotiations with the knave that I believe may be useful to... The Harbinger known as the Captain has thrown his hat into the endless ring.
Captain.
Sounds like a real tough customer.
I suggest that you fully prepare yourself before going to Natlan. In the meantime, Fontaine's doors will... Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Hang on a sec. When we spoke to Linny earlier, he mentioned that your attitude towards giving away... We guessed that there might be some...
No wonder the House of the Hearth is the Fatui's intelligence division. So regarding this specific issue, I was just getting... In truth, I exchanged some further words with that lady named Skirk after sending you two back to the surface. It went something like this.
Well, we're going to head topside to see what's going on.
What next?
The all-devouring narwhal isn't here, so I'm no longer getting... I can finally catch the scent of your power. What it's made of. It is the authority of the planet's primordial dragons, but with something very similar to a god's curse. I'm sure I've encountered something like this before.
I do not know what you speak of.
Of course. You should have the remains of the third descender.
Remains? Well, that much is true. After Focalor's divinity faded, she handed her gnosis to me, but I fear I have never heard of it described in the...
I've been training with my master, the Fowl, ever since I was young, and I have never returned to the surface since. It is only natural for those who are greater than humanity to possess a different sort of common sense. Regardless, you should probably get rid of objects of misfortune. To live in itself is a blessing.
What do you mean by...
No need to fret. These are just my... personal thoughts. And my
This third descender you refer to?
Master never mentioned them to me. Perhaps it just wasn't that. If you're interested, though, I could ask him.
Next time, you believe?
I do. Wait.
That's what she told me. Whether it would prove...
The remains of the... So that's what the no-sees actually are. Paimon just thought they looked like chess pieces. How could they be a person's remains?
All the same, assuming that there was no misunderstanding or special...
And she said that it would bring misfortune.
If she speaks the truth, then... I had guessed that you might already be familiar with this concept. That means that the no-sees, which are exceedingly element-compatible and can even enhance elemental abilities. I wonder...
Like being able to use elemental... No, let's not think about comparing the Traveler to the Dead Third. That's what you say, but this...
I too believe it unwise to make too many blind...
Alright.
Yes.
But...
I suppose that would be the mystery. I suspect not. But once in a while, I too would guess that if wishes were... Life flows like water. And what ultimate...
Tem mais ainda? Acabou, né? Ué, não veio nada não. Terminei a parte aqui. Nossa, tem tudo isso pra fazer. Dá pra dar tiro aqui, pelo menos? Tá, vamos lá. Terminar o vídeo com tiro, né? Não vem. É isso aí.